Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Mr. Actor 316 back on YouTube. Here to make a review, or here to make a top 10 video requested by the Pepsi Dude 1. So go ahead and subscribe to him. His name is the Pepsi Dude 1. Anyway, so you all know that today is Wrestlemania. I mean, tomorrow's gonna be Wrestlemania. And anyways, I'm not gonna make a review. I'm not gonna make a prediction on it, but I'm just gonna tell you that's gonna be a great pay-per-view. I hope you all enjoy, especially the ones who are going there live, like Assault and Battery. Who else is going there? Stevie Breach and freaking Yaya 88. So I hope they enjoy. Anyways, here's the top 10 worst pay-per-view of all time in my collection. So good call, Pepsi Dude. It's gonna be a horrible DVD reviews. Anyways, my top 10 worst pay-per-views. Remember, this is from my opinion, so remember, it's not a fact. Everyone have their own taste, so remember that. Going on to number 10, you guys might not believe this, but number 10's worst, top 10, like the 10th worst pay-per-view of all time is Bad Blood '04. Yeah, Bad Blood 2004 was definitely not the right pay-per-view to purchase. A lot of terrible matches. Chris Jericho versus Tyson Tomko, Eugene versus Jonathan Coachman, Chris Benoit versus Kane, and those were all bad matches. Especially the World Tag Team Championship match between Benoit, Edge, and La Resistance. Oh my God, it was all terrible. I mean, the only match I enjoyed was a women's match, the women's championship match. I mean, and the Hell in a Cell match between Triple H and Shawn. That was alright, but just a terrible pay-per-view. I didn't like it at all. God, I mean, I think I've only watched it once, and that's about it. Like, I purchased it when it came out, I watched it. I literally did not watch it ever again. So yeah, you could probably tell because the DVD is perfectly clear, because I never touched it. So yeah, worst DVD ever. Well, not one of the worst. Number 9, this pay-per-view was just pointless. It could have been just a regular TV show. And anyways, it was the last one. It was called Rebellion. Yeah, Rebellion 2002 was not a good call. A lot of, I mean, some of the matches were good, no doubt, but like, there were just so many matches that were like, eh. Like, the only matches I enjoyed was the Tag Team Championship match and Brock Lesnar versus Edge. The rest were like boring. I mean, I think this just could have been a regular TV show like SmackDown or Raw, but I don't know. I mean, Rebellion '01 was good, but this one was just terrible. I didn't like it at all. The Cruiserweight Championship match was like such a disappointment because they ended it so quickly, and the intergender tag team match was just horrible. Bad match, horrible. Booker T versus Matt Hardy was not bad. Could have been better. Rikishi versus Albert was boring. The Big Valboski and Chuck Palumbo versus Devon and Ron Simmons was also terrible. I didn't like this pay-per-view, period. Anyways, next is New Year's Revolution 2007. Yeah, I hated this pay-per-view. Holy shit. Like, I looked at the cover and I was like, oh, this is going to be a good pay-per-view. But then I look at the match card and then I look at the match itself. I go, what the fuck is wrong with this? I mean, all the matches were just so plain. Ric Flair versus Kenny Dystra, horrible match. Carlito versus Chris Masters, horrible match. Mickey James versus Victoria, not that good. Rated RKO versus DX, I don't know why, but I didn't enjoy this match. And plus, I think Triple H injured his leg. So, and John Cena versus Umaga, the fucking main event, horrible. Just terrible. I hated this match. I hate the outcome of the match too. John Cena pins Umaga via roll-up. Holy shit, I hated that. Anyways, number 7, Great American Bash 2007. Why did I not like this? Well, let's just say, I don't know. I mean, actually, this pay-per-view was not that bad, but it was just a match card that bored me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the women's championship match was boring. The IC title match was also boring. The WWE Championship match was also boring. I don't know. This pay-per-view, maybe I messed up. I probably shouldn't have put this on the list, but I did anyways. Whatever. Now this one, I guarantee you, I will never ever take out from the list. Oops, sorry. Capital Punishment. I hated this pay-per-view. I hated the quality of the pay-per-view as well, like how the cameraman like made the video. I don't know, something like that. It was just terrible. Some of the matches, like Evan Bourne versus Jack Swagger, shouldn't have been in the pay-per-view. Wade Barrett versus Ezekiel Jackson was terrible. Big Show versus Del Rio was not that entertaining. A-Rod versus Miz was just so disappointing. Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler was not bad, but I don't know. I just didn't like the atmosphere of the pay-per-view. It didn't feel so good, and plus I hated the segments where they had a fake Barack Obama throughout the pay-per-view. It was just so terrible. They just ruined the pay-per-view. I mean, it could have been better, but you know, they ruined it with that fake Barack Obama and everything like that. All right, number 5. I will never, ever, ever appreciate this pay-per-view. Judgment Day 2006. The reasons why I don't like this pay-per-view is because, well, there were a lot of bad matches, but the one match that pissed me off the most was The Undertaker versus The Great Khali. I hated that match, and I hated the fact that Khali fucking dominated The Undertaker. I mean, he was like one of the first guys to ever do this to The Undertaker. You know, beat the shit out of him, and Undertaker barely made a move. I mean, I was pissed. And that's when I started hating the Great Khali. I hated him. I mean, after all that domination the Great Khali caused The Undertaker, he becomes a fucking jobber. Just so terrible. That's like, that kind of buried The Undertaker, in my opinion. Number 4, Hell in a Cell 2009. You guys probably expected this. So, well, Undertaker vs. CM Punk, opener of the match, opener of the pay-per-view. Biggest mistake they ever made. This was the very first Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, but the reason why that I don't like it is because, you know, the Hell in a Cell matches were just a bunch of rip-offs. I mean, Randy Orton vs. John Cena was the worst Hell in a Cell match I've ever seen in my life. By far, the worst Hell in a Cell I have ever seen. DX vs. Legacy, not bad. Tag team, the Triple Threat US Championship match, not bad. Intercontinental Championship match, okay. Tag team match, not that good. Divas match, horrible. CM Punk vs. Undertaker World Title match, the opener, the Hell in a Cell match, sucked. This just shows how bad this pay-per-view was. They ruined Hell in a Cell, in my opinion. They ruined it because of this pay-per-view. They ruined it. Number 3 is One Night Stand 2007. God, I hate this pay-per-view. I hated everything about it. I mean, Mr. McMahon versus Bobby Lashley was terrible. Edge versus Batista was boring. John Cena versus Great Khali was so overrated. You know, Kane versus Mark Henry was terrible. And that 6-man tables match was also not interesting. The only matches I enjoyed was Rob Van Dam versus Randy Orton and the Hardys versus the World's Greatest Tag Team. Those were the only 2 matches I liked. The rest sucked. Number 2, Judgment Day 07. Whoa, ho, ho. This is such a terrible pay-per-view. John Cena versus Khali should have been like, it probably was the worst match in history. Shawn Michaels versus Randy Orton was very overrated in my opinion. Edge versus Batista was disappointing. Chris Benoit versus MVP was just the worst match I've ever seen in my life. That was the worst 2 out of 3 falls match ever. And the Hardys versus Trevor Murdoch and Lance Cale was also pretty boring. I don't know. I just hate this pay-per-view so much. I can't even stand looking at it. That's how much I hate it. And number 1 most hated pay-per-view of all time is, voila, ECW December to Dismember. Well, what can I say? They've had some of the worst matches right in this pay-per-view. I mean, if you look at it, let's take a look at the whole entire schedule. Let's look at it. All right, one night only. The Hardys versus Eminem, not a bad match, in my opinion. RVD comments on the Extreme Elimination Chamber. Ooh. Balls Mahoney versus Matt Striker. What the hell? Matt Striker? Brian Pillman loose cannon DVD promo. CM Punk warming up in the hallway. Elijah Burke and Sylvester Terkay. Who the hell's Sylvester Terkay again? Oh wait, he was a jobber. Versus FBI. Tommy Dreamer versus Daivari. Paul Heyman talks to Hardcore Holly. Mike Knox and Kelly versus Kevin Thorne and Ariel. Rebecca and interviews Bobby Lashley. And then the Elimination Chamber match. You only had 4 matches. 2 of them were horrible. 1 was and 1 was good. And the rest was just basically promotions for, another, DVDs and then like interviews and then like some drama and everything. That was not what ECW was about. ECW was 70% wrestling, 20% drama, and 10% promotion. Oh, my God, this buried ECW. This right here is an embarrassment. This ECW can burn in hell. The ECW that I know was the one that had non-stop violence back in the 90s. So yeah, that's basically my top 10 my least favorite pay-per-views of all time. I kind of when I think of it, I think the Great American Bash '07 was not that bad, but I don't know what to replace with it. But the rest right here, you see. These are the pay-per-views you probably should never, ever get. The one on the lower, you might, change them. You might think those are good, but the top 3 or the top 5, you gotta notice how horrible it is. I mean, it's just terrible. I only got those for my collection. That's it. I mean, like I watched ECW December to Dismember via on pay-per-view. I just decided to buy the DVD for my collection. I mean, like I've only watched it like once on DVD. So like yeah, that's basically it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to subscribe to the Pepsi Dude one. He requested this video, so remember to subscribe to him. I'll be making more videos soon. So for those of you who've been patient, who have requested me who video requested me like months ago, thank you for your patience. I'll try my best to do it quickly or as soon as possible. So anyways, that's all for now, guys. See you guys next time. Peace.